is my Slash lead tone for Appetite for Destruction, specifically for the track Sweet Child of Mine. I hope you could hear that it's a pretty authentic tone, and this was a challenging one to nail down because the story of the amp that Slash used on Appetite for Destruction is a pretty interesting one and a storied one. But before I tell you that story, let me play you another little bit of a lead snippet from a different part of Sweet Child of Mine. So there you heard the same lead tone in a different context. Now throughout, I'm using the neck position pickup in my Les Paul here. And this pickup is a Seymour Duncan 59. And the 59 is a PAF style neck pickup. So if you have a guitar with a PAF sounding pickup in the neck, it's going to sound perfect and authentic with this patch. But you can use the patch with a lot of different guitars, and just to show you how good it sounds with a lot of different guitars and so you can get an idea how responsive the Helix is to different pickups, I'm going to play you a lick off of Paradise City with no backing track with a couple of different pickups on 3 of my guitars. So now you heard what the tone sounds like with different pickups on a lot of my different guitars, and I do think it sounds terrific on all of them. You can hear how responsive the Helix is to different pickups on different guitars, the same way a real tube amp would be very responsive to different pickups on different guitars. And it sounds to me still, my favorite and most authentic tone is the neck pickup on this guitar. And my second favorite is the neck pickup on the blue Ibanez. So those are my 2 favorite tones out of all my guitars, but I didn't want to just play through all of them for you. We'd be here all day. So let's talk a little bit about what this amp was that Slash used on Appetite for Destruction. It was a Marshall, and it was a vintage Marshall, though less vintage at the time. But the story goes that Slash, for rehearsals for the recording of Appetite for Destruction, rented a specific Marshall from a company in Los Angeles, and it turns out that Marshall was sort of a one-of-a-kind modded head that only this rental company had anything that sounded like it. Slash so fell in love with the way the amp sounded and the unique character of it that he scheduled to rent the exact same head when they went to record the Appetite for Destruction album. Now, due to a sort of a screw-up at the rental company, when Guns N' Roses was scheduled to record Appetite for Destruction and they were getting ready to ship the amp out to him, they found that they did not have the head in stock. That head had actually been rented by George Lynch and was out on tour with him and his band. So the amp also had a one-of-a-kind mod, and the guy that worked for the rental company that did that mod no longer worked at the rental company. So they had to do some research and figure out what that mod was that was done to the amp and try to mod a second head to have that same character, and without telling Slash or anyone in Guns N' Roses, they subbed in that second modded head, and that second modded head is what Slash actually used on the recording of the album. So it's a pretty interesting story, and I'll post a link to the full research that was done by a fan. Will be down in the description here, so you can read that and get all the details for yourself. But I had to do some interesting things with Helix to try to mimic the sound of that vintage modded Marshall with that special sort of one-of-a-kind mod to it. But I mixed 3 different amplifiers together to try to create that tonal character, and I hope that everyone will agree that it is a very authentic sound, and I hope you'll all have a lot of fun playing through it.